What's going on, guys? It's Colton Gibson on Hunting Cast, and today I've got a comparison video for you all today. I've not really seen a lot of these videos, and me personally, I just wanted to see a side-by-side comparison on a back bar slash sidebar slash rear stabilizer. Whatever you want to call it, we don't discriminate. Is a back bar, is what I'm going to call it today, is it really necessary for hunters? So whenever I say hunters, it's a kind of a broad spectrum. For me, I'm primarily a whitetail hunter, so I'm going to be sitting in a tree stand. I'm going to be shooting closer shots. We're going to see is the accuracy compared to no rear stabilizer compared to a rear stabilizer. So at the end of the day, most people hunt with a front stabilization, some sorts, whether it's a 6-inch bar, 8-inch, 10-inch. This is a 12-inch bridge lock stabilizing bar for the Mathews Lift. I'm going to compare on the rear. The reason I'm not going to do the fronts, like I said, most people do have some sort of a front. But I have a lot of people that I know personally, and even me at one point in time, is it really worth the money to have the back bar bracket and the rear stabilizer? Is it going to make any difference in your shooting capabilities? I want to know. I've never seen a shot side-by-side comparison to see if, is there really that much of a difference? Today I'm going to be shooting at 50 yards. We're going to see the differences at 50 yards in mostly the groups. Are the groups going to be any different, or don't pay attention to where the arrows land as much as the grouping. If it's got good tight grouping, I call that success. If it's not, then maybe there's a difference. I have my own hypothesis. I believe a rear stabilizing bar does help you shooting, but I'm about to find out. I think it all really depends on the shooter at the end of the day. So we're going to find out. We're going to see what happens. Stay tuned. We are 50 yards on the dot. So, first shots, I'm going to shoot 5 shots. First 5 shots, I'm going to do this rear stabilizer. Next 5 shots, I'm going to do no rear stabilizer. I'm going to compare. If I feel like I didn't have a really good shoot on 5 shots, or I skewed an arrow, we'll throw that one out. If I feel like I just didn't shoot good at all on those 5 arrows, because let's be honest, I am a human being, we'll shoot another 5. We'll see at the end of the day. Like I said, I believe there's good things and bad things with the rear stabilizer, but we'll talk about that at the end of the video. Let's get started on these first 5. Let's take a look. And here we are. So it looks like we got 2 left variances, but that could have been me. I think this one, yep. This fletching, yep. But that also could have been me. But I mean, 50 yards. I'm no pro. I've never claimed to be a professional. It's taken me a long time to get fairly good shooting habits. So, but I think this is going to be a good comparison on my side. I'm excited to see what it's going to be like with no sidebar. So we're going to shoot that next. That was 5 arrows. We'll shoot 5 more arrows with no stabilizer. Next up, no rear stabilizer. I'm going to take this bad boy out. Go ahead and take it all the way out. Lay that right there so we don't lose it. 50 yards. As y'all can see, I'm just gonna leave this on there. If y'all complain about that, then y'all complain about that. Shoot these. The bow feels weird now. Feels so weird after the shot, not so much like during the shot, but after the shot. It's like a little bit of a right variance down there now. Ooh. Let's go look at it. Okay, so still not bad grouping. It seems like I've got more of a right variance. And we got 2 touching right there, so that means I'm accurate with what I'm doing. And I think a lot of the right variances have to do with the fact that my bubble was wanting to go, or my bow was wanting to lean this way. So what I mean by that is, like, whenever I'm drawing back, due to the bows not being extremely stable with your sight and all that stuff on it, your bow wants to lean one way or the other, especially if you're right-handed or left-handed. So with that, you have to fight your bubble more. Is it a decent group? Yes. I'll wholeheartedly agree it's a decent group. I mean, that's probably about throw out that one, that's a decent little group right there. That's a flyer. Obviously, you got 4 arrows over here and 1 over here. We will talk more inside. Comparisons. So, as y'all can see from the footage, I wanted to come in here, I want to get inside. It's kind of getting a little bit darker. So, as you can see from the footage, there's not a huge difference. Now, for granted, I'm shooting at 50 yards. I do believe this is something you can't see from the camera, is my float. I might have had decent groups with no stabilizer on the back, but with the rear stabilizer, I felt like my float was much tighter to the circle. I did shoot a little bit to the left, and I think that was simply because I done a little tinkering with my bow yesterday. I think that was on me. I should have made sure everything was straight, but that's not the point of it. It's not hitting the circle. It's being accurate and having tight groups, if that makes sense. That was the point of this video, is having tight groups. So without the rear stabilizer, I still shot a pretty good tight group. I think a lot of that just being an archer. If you're good at shooting, I'm not saying I'm great at shooting, by no means. Could I have done better at 50 yards? Yes. Have I done better at 50 yards? Yes. That's by far not my best grouping at 50 yards. So, do you need a rear stabilizer? Depends on what kind of shooter you are. Do you feel like you could be better at archery? I guess. Do you feel like you could shoot tighter groups? I think yes. That's the main reason of a rear stabilizer, is to balance the bow more, and I feel like it steadies your bow more. So at the end of the day, it depends on what your use for the bow is going to be. Are you going to be shooting longer ranges? Do you just want the greatest possibilities of having a better shot at all times? Are you a Western hunter? Do you walk 15, 20 miles elk hunting or something? If so, maybe a back bar isn't what you need, because it's a little bit more weight. It's not much, but it's a little bit more weight. Whether or not this bridge lock system on the Mathews is worth the money, I don't know. I've not seen numbers comparing these stabilizers to regular stabilizers or even high-end stabilizers that screw into the bow. I would like to see that. I've not seen a video on that. But that's not the task at hand here, getting a little off topic. But at the end of the day, it depends on what you think the use of the bow is. I definitely feel like a stabilizer for me helps. This video kind of surprised me because there wasn't much of a variance. For granted, I was shooting at 50 yards, and 50 yards isn't really that far if you shoot a lot. I feel like you'll see more of a variance at further ranges. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised by this video. I figured there'd be a little bit more of a variance. Obviously, the variance from left to right is because the bubble of the bow. When I say that, the level of the bow. So like with the back bar, it's going to keep the bow tilted more to the left. Now, if I have my bow balanced correctly, the bubble should be in the middle. And without the back bar, I noticed the bow, I was fighting the bow more and trying to bring it back. So I was fighting to the right more, and which is why I think I have more of a right-handed group. But yeah, you can take what you think from this video. You might not even buy a back bar now, or rear stabilizer, whatever you want to call it. I call it a back bar. But yeah, if you're looking at to get a back bar, I believe it, even though this video might change my perspective from it a little bit, but I still think at the end of the day it has helped me. But I have no proof of that now. It obviously does. It does because, I mean, your target archers, they use back bars, they use front stabilizers, but not a lot of people in the hunting world use them. So I can understand why. I'm a whitetail hunter. I sit in a tree stand. I'm usually going to be shooting 30 yards and in. Do I need a rear stabilizer? No, I don't. But I honestly want something on my bow if it's going to make me shoot better, even if it is at 20 yards, or if it's going to make me shoot better at 60 yards, then I want it on my bow for 20 yards. That's just my thought process. So thank y'all for watching. If you don't mind, like and subscribe. My last video, it blew up on the Mathews bow review. I might come out with another review in probably about 6 months from now with it. Just kind of a recap on the bow. Not so much in depth, mostly just about the strings. That's going to be the end of it. Thank you all guys. Keep watching and you'll have a good one.